Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Henry, a man weathered by 74 years of sunrises and sunsets, a man whose life had become a comfortable, almost hypnotic rhythm, lay sprawled on the floor. The familiar Persian rug twisted beneath him like a disgruntled serpent. His fall hadn't been dramatic. No theatrical flailing of limbs or desperate cries for help. It was a simple, silent crumpling, like a building imploding after years of structural neglect. His wife Martha found him there, a teacup shattered beside his outstretched hand, the remnants of his morning coffee staining the intricate patterns of the rug. The coffee, a dark, bitter brew he'd consumed religiously for half a century, now seemed like a malevolent accomplice in this sudden, unsettling drama. Martha, a woman whose own routine was as steadfast as Henry's, let out a gasp, a sound that scraped against the morning stillness. Her mind, usually a meticulously organized filing cabinet of to-do lists and appointment reminders, suddenly felt like a drawer had been yanked open, scattering its contents across the floor. She knelt beside him, her hands trembling as she reached for his wrist, searching for the familiar steady pulse that had been her anchor for over 50 years. It was there, but weak, erratic, a hummingbird trapped in a cage. She called 911, her voice a shaky whisper that belied the steel core that had seen her through countless challenges over the decades. The paramedics arrived in a whirlwind of flashing lights and urgent voices, their presence transforming the serene morning scene into a chaotic tableau of medical intervention. They worked quickly, efficiently, their movements precise, and practiced a stark contrast to Martha's bewildered helplessness. Within minutes, Henry was strapped to a gurney, an oxygen mask covering his face. His eyes closed, his fate hanging precariously in the balance. At the hospital, the air hung thick with the antiseptic scent of disinfectant and the low hum of medical equipment. Martha sat in the waiting room, a solitary figure amidst the sterile surroundings, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The minutes stretched into an eternity, each tick of the clock amplifying her anxiety. She replayed the morning's events in her mind, searching for a clue, a warning sign that she had somehow missed. Had he seemed more tired than usual? Had he complained of any pain? The questions swirled around her unanswered, adding to the mounting sense of dread. Finally, a doctor emerged, his face etched with a mixture of concern and cautious optimism. He introduced himself as Dr. Ramirez, a cardiologist, and explained that Henry had suffered a cardiac event, a sudden disruption of the heart's normal rhythm. He assured her that Henry was stable, but that they needed to run further tests to determine the underlying cause. The tests revealed a constellation of issues, a confluence of factors that had conspired to weaken Henry's heart over time. Dr. Ramirez explained that while Henry's heart itself was structurally sound, it had been subjected to years of subtle cumulative abuse. He then proceeded to meticulously dissect Henry's seemingly innocuous morning routine, revealing the hidden dangers lurking within. Mr. Henderson's morning habits, while seemingly harmless individually, were placing a tremendous amount of stress on his cardiovascular system. Dr. Ramirez explained, his voice gentle but firm. The sudden jolt of getting out of bed, quickly especially after lying down for several hours, can cause a significant drop in blood pressure. This is particularly dangerous for older individuals, as their blood vessels are less elastic and less able to compensate for these rapid changes. He continued, the ice-cold water he drank first thing in the morning while perhaps refreshing, caused a rapid constriction of his blood vessels. This vasoconstriction increases blood pressure, forcing the heart to work harder to pump blood throughout the body. Over time, this can lead to strain and damage. Dr. Ramirez then turned his attention to Henry's beloved coffee. The caffeine in coffee stimulates the release of cortisol, the stress hormone. When consumed on an empty stomach, as Mr. Henderson was doing, this effect is amplified, further increasing blood pressure and heart rate. Moreover, caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it promotes fluid loss and can lead to dehydration, which also puts a strain on the heart. Finally, he addressed Henry's habit of skipping breakfast. Skipping breakfast leads to fluctuations in blood sugar levels. When blood sugar drops too low, the body releases hormones like adrenaline to compensate. This can cause heart palpitations, anxiety, and further stress on the cardiovascular system. Furthermore, chronic skipping of breakfast can disrupt the body's natural hormonal balance, contributing to a range of health problems. Martha listened in stunned silence, her mind struggling to reconcile the image of her healthy, active husband with the picture Dr. Ramirez was painting of a man slowly eroding his own health, one seemingly harmless habit at a time. It was a chilling realization, a stark reminder that even the most ingrained routines could have unforeseen consequences. The recovery was slow and arduous. Henry, a man of routine, found himself forced to confront the very habits that had defined his life for decades. He was initially resistant, clinging to his old ways with the stubbornness of a man set in his years. But the near-death experience had shaken him to his core, forcing him to acknowledge the fragility of his own mortality. With Martha's unwavering support and Dr. Ramirez's guidance, Henry began to dismantle his old routine brick by painstaking brick, replacing them with healthier alternatives. The first change was the most challenging: slowing down. He learned to wake up gradually, to linger in bed for a few minutes, taking deep, deliberate breaths. He practiced gentle stretches, movements so subtle they barely registered, yet they were enough to stimulate circulation and prepare his body for the day ahead. The ice-cold water was replaced with warm water infused with lemon and a pinch of Himalayan salt. The lemon provided a gentle boost of vitamin C and antioxidants, while the salt helped to replenish electrolytes lost during the night. The warm water was soothing, gentle on his system, a stark contrast to the jarring shock of the cold water. He discovered that the ritual itself was calming, a moment of quiet contemplation before the day's demands began to intrude. Next came the breakfast revolution. Gone were the days of coffee on an empty stomach. Instead, Henry began to experiment with a variety of heart-healthy options. He discovered the joys of chia seed pudding, a creamy, nutritious concoction made with chia seeds, almond milk, and a touch of honey. He learned to poach eggs to perfection, serving them on whole wheat toast with a slice of avocado. He even ventured into the realm of oatmeal, a food he had previously dismissed as bland and unappetizing, but which he now found to be surprisingly satisfying when topped with fresh berries and nuts. Perhaps the most difficult change of all was relinquishing his immediate access to the news. Henry had always been a voracious consumer of information, believing it was his civic duty to stay informed about current events. But the constant barrage of negativity, the relentless stream of bad news, and political squabbling had taken its toll on his mental and emotional well-being. He learned to delay his news consumption, reserving it for later in the day, after he had grounded himself in a sense of calm and positivity. He also began to curate his news sources, focusing on reputable outlets that prioritized factual reporting over sensationalism. In addition to these lifestyle changes, Henry also began to monitor his blood pressure each morning using a simple, user-friendly device that Martha had purchased for him. This allowed him to track his progress and identify any potential issues early on. He also started practicing mindfulness meditation, a technique he had initially dismissed as New Age fluff, but which he now found to be surprisingly effective at reducing stress and promoting relaxation. Slowly but surely, Henry began to feel his health returning. His energy levels increased, his heart palpitations subsided, and his overall sense of well-being improved dramatically. He discovered a newfound appreciation for the simple things in life: a warm cup of tea, a leisurely walk in the park, a heartfelt conversation with Martha. He realized that true health was not just the absence of disease, but a state of holistic well-being that encompassed the physical, mental, and emotional realms. One sunny afternoon, several months after his collapse, Henry found himself sitting on the porch, watching the world go by. He sipped his warm lemon water, feeling the gentle warmth spread through his body. Martha sat beside him, her hand resting on his. They sat in comfortable silence, content in each other's company, grateful for the second chance that life had given them. "You know," Henry said, breaking the silence, "I used to think that health was something you either had or didn't have. I thought it was a matter of luck, of genetics. But I've learned that it's so much more than that. It's a choice, a conscious decision to take care of yourself, to prioritize your well-being." Martha smiled, squeezing his hand gently. "It's also about listening to your body," she said, "learning to recognize the warning signs, to pay attention to what your body is telling you." Henry nodded in agreement. "And it's about being willing to change, to adapt, to let go of old habits that no longer serve you. It's not always easy, but it's worth it." He paused, taking a deep breath of the fresh air. "I almost lost everything, Martha. I almost lost you. And it was all because of some silly habits that I had developed over the years. I'm so grateful that I had the chance to learn from my mistakes, to make a change." Martha leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. "I'm grateful too, Henry. I'm grateful that you're still here with me, and I'm proud of you for making the changes you've made." Henry smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile that reached his eyes. He knew that the road ahead would not always be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of temptation to revert to his old ways. But he was determined to stay the course, to continue prioritizing his health and well-being. He had learned a valuable lesson, a lesson that had almost cost him his life. And he was determined to live each day to the fullest, with gratitude, awareness, and a deep appreciation for the precious gift of health. The change in Henry wasn't just physical. It was profound and extended to his mental and spiritual realms as well. Before the cardiac event, Henry was a man driven by routine and largely defined by his anxieties. The news cycle had become an addiction, a source of constant worry and simmering frustration. He saw the world as a place of endless problems and impending doom. His interactions were often transactional, hurried, and lacking genuine connection. Post-recovery, Henry underwent a metamorphosis. The physical changes, the improved energy levels, the stabilized blood pressure, the calmer heartbeat, were mirrored by an inner transformation. The daily meditation practice, initially undertaken as a means to reduce stress, blossomed into a journey of self-discovery. He began to explore the depths of his own consciousness, confronting long-buried fears and insecurities. He learned to observe his thoughts and emotions without judgment, to let them flow through him, like clouds passing across the sky. He found solace in nature, spending hours walking in the nearby park, marveling at the intricate beauty of the trees, the flowers, the birds. He rediscovered the simple joy of being present in the moment, of appreciating the sensory richness of the world around him. He started volunteering at a local soup kitchen, finding purpose and fulfillment in helping others. His interactions with people became more genuine, more compassionate. He listened more than he talked, offering a sympathetic ear and a kind word to those in need. The most striking change was in his relationship with Martha. Before their marriage had settled into a comfortable but somewhat predictable pattern. They were companions, partners, but the spark had dimmed over the years. Now they rediscovered their love for each other, a love deepened by shared adversity and mutual growth. They spent more time together, talking, laughing, reminiscing. They took up new hobbies like gardening and painting. They traveled to new places, exploring the world with a sense of wonder and adventure. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Martha turned to Henry and said, "You know, you're like a completely different person. It's like you've been reborn." Henry smiled. "I feel like I have been," he said. "I feel like I've been given a second chance to live life to the fullest, to be the best version of myself." He reached out and took her hand, his eyes filled with love and gratitude. "And I couldn't have done it without you, Martha. You were my rock, my support, my inspiration. I love you more than words can say." Martha squeezed his hand tightly. "I love you too, Henry," she said, "and I'm so proud of the man you've become." They sat in silence for a moment, watching the sun sink below the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant hues of orange, pink, and purple. It was a perfect moment, a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the transformative potential of a healthy lifestyle. The story of Henry's transformation became a source of inspiration for others in their community. People noticed the change in him, the radiant glow of health and happiness that seemed to emanate from his very being. They asked him about his secret, and he was always willing to share his story, to offer encouragement and advice. He became an advocate for healthy living, volunteering at local health fairs and giving talks at senior centers. He emphasized the importance of preventative care, of making small, sustainable changes to one's lifestyle, of listening to one's body, and of seeking professional medical advice when needed. He shared his own experiences, his own struggles, and his own triumphs, making him relatable and inspiring to those who listened. He stressed that it was never too late to make a change, that even at the age of 74, he had been able to turn his life around and reclaim his health. He encouraged people to start small, to focus on one or two key areas, and to build from there. He emphasized the importance of consistency, of making healthy habits a part of one's daily routine, and of not giving up in the face of setbacks. He also highlighted the importance of social support, of having a network of friends and family who could provide encouragement and accountability. He emphasized the value of sharing experiences, of learning from others, and of building a community of like-minded individuals. He and Martha became pillars of their community, beacons of hope and inspiration for those seeking to improve their health and well-being. Years passed, and Henry remained a vibrant, active, and engaged member of his community. He continued to practice his healthy habits, to meditate, to exercise, to volunteer, and to cherish his relationship with Martha. He became a living testament to the power of a healthy lifestyle, a shining example of what is possible when one prioritizes their well-being. He lived to the ripe old age of 92, passing away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by his loved ones. His legacy lived on not only in the memories of those who knew him, but also in the countless lives he had touched, the countless people he had inspired to live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. His story became a legend, a timeless tale of transformation, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. And so the tale of Henry serves as a poignant reminder that health is not merely the absence of illness, but a vibrant tapestry woven with mindful choices, unwavering resilience, and a deep appreciation for the gift of life itself. A tapestry that each of us has the power to create one conscious decision at a time. The key to a long and healthy life, Henry discovered, wasn't about grand gestures or radical overhauls, but about the accumulation of small, consistent acts of self-care performed with intention and a deep understanding of the body's intricate needs. It was about waking up, slowly, savoring each breath, nourishing the body with wholesome food, calming the mind with meditation, and connecting with others in meaningful ways. It was about recognizing that health is a journey, not a destination, and that every step, no matter how small, contributes to the overall well-being. And it was about embracing the aging process with grace and acceptance, understanding that each year brings its own unique challenges and opportunities for growth. In the end, Henry's life became a testament to the transformative power of self-awareness, self-compassion, and an unwavering commitment to living a life of purpose, meaning, and vibrant health. Health 2660 thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.